Hey guys, it's Chala from Crafting Through the Chaos of Life. Welcome back for another video. It is Whip Wednesday, What's in Progress Wednesday, or Work in Progress Wednesday. Today I am playing around with some freezer paper. It is the new fad to play with freezer paper, which ironically my mom actually uses for her quilting, her paper piecing. And I often thought there's some way that we've got to be able to use this in our journaling or making our junk journals. And sure enough, someone much more talented, creative, and smarter than me has already figured it out. So I was watching a lovely lady from Chasing Paper, and she used it for faux handmade paper. That's what we're going to do today. We're going to give it a go. So this stuff measures 15 inches by 150 feet. It's heavy duty freezer paper. Freezer paper is what you need, not wax paper, not butcher paper, freezer paper, because it is plastic coated. Okay, this stuff is really nice. It's got some thickness to it. If you have it on a roll like I do, you might want to pull some out ahead of time and lay them flat. Do not iron them because that comes later for our project, but lay them out, put some heavy books on them to flatten it out. Okay, so I'm going to take a piece out here and just not really measuring, just pulling a piece out, rip it off, and it's actually laying quite nicely, so I don't have to worry about weighing it down or anything. Okay, you have two sides to your paper. You have kind of a matte side and a very shiny, smooth side. Now, I think every wax paper might be just a little bit different because this smooth, shiny side is actually not the side that the wax is on. The wax is on this more matte side. So this is the side that needs to be facing up. And I know I'm kind of cockeyed here, but that's fine. It'll be okay. So keep that in mind, because I did do a little test piece and I did it the other way with this nice shiny side up, thinking that was the wax side. And when I ironed it, it ironed itself to my towel. Not a big deal because it does pull up, but keep that in mind. So I want this kind of less smooth side up for me. The first thing we will do is do some stamping on it. So I did have these florals that I got off of AliExpress, and again I do have an extra one of these, and I am putting a package together with some duplicates and some other things that I have for my 1,000 subscriber giveaway. It's going to be a big box of goodness, so stay tuned for that. All right, so for our stamping, you will want StazOn. Any other ink is going to sit on top and is not going to absorb in, it's not going to dry, it's going to smudge and smear and all the things that you don't want it to do. StazOn is what you want. She had, the lady from Chasing Paper, again, I'm sorry, don't know her name, but she used a lovely brown. I have this cactus green, so we're going to use that. And, oh, I love the smell of StazOn. Okay, I know that's weird. So just inking up, and we're just going to randomly stamp down some leafy images. That's going to give it the illusion that we have some pressed plants in there. Just here and there, turning your stamp a little bit. Okay, and the funny thing is this stuff actually is sitting on top a little bit more than it did on the other side, but it should be fine. Let's do that like that. Oh, and I'm getting ink all over, but that's okay. Everything's fine. Not to worry. Let's do you like this. Okay, and maybe over there and there. Okay, good enough. No, I lied. One more. Okay. So we've got that, and hopefully that will dry up a bit. The next thing that we are going to play with is some crayons. And my lovely daughter brought down her crayons. I totally forgot we had these. Gorgeous array of crayons, but it also has the amazing little, isn't it cute? It's a crayon sharpener. So you will need something to kind of either sharpen or some way to get wax off of your crayons. You can use a little knife. You can also, you know, use a cheese grater. Go to the Goodwill, the dollar store, get yourself a little cheese grater, because you probably don't want to use it for food afterwards. I don't know, unless you clean it really well. Who knows? I wouldn't, because I don't clean very well. But so yeah, we're going to use this really cool sharpener and some crayons. I've chosen this beautiful olive green, this macaroni and cheese orange. I love that. And this gold. And we are going to try to get the smallest little waxy bits that we possibly can. Okay. I also have my iron. This is my craft iron. I got it at Goodwill for like $4. I have this heating up on linen, no steam. I also have a heat press that I want to try as well. It's in the other room, so I can't take you guys with me to show you that. But yeah, I do vinyl work and t-shirts and that sort of thing. And so I think the heat press would give it a really great even heat and squish it down at the same time, that you might not get the same pressure and heat from an iron. So I'm going to try both. So just these really, really tiny, that one's a little big. That might not be too bad, but tiny, tiny, tiny shavings. Just using my tweezers to try and get the little bits out. This is not a project that you want to sneeze around or breathe heavy around, just so you know. Otherwise you're going to have bits of things kind of flying everywhere. So I mean, that's a pretty big piece. Let's see if I can crumble it. No, well, we'll go with it. Let's do the orange. Come on. Okay. Ooh, yeah, there's a big chunk. We got to break that one up for sure. Because what happens is the wax is going to like spread out, right? When it melts. And you don't want like a big old wax blob. You want these tiny little type flecks. Okay, let's do some of this olive green. Hopefully that's working, I don't know. Okay. Come on. I see there's some bits in there. I want you to come out. I'm sure you guys will be much better at this whole like grading the crayon thing than me, but there we go. So as you can see, just little bits, right? Tiny, tiny. The next thing that we want to do is she had some used tea bags. I have a used tea bag, but my tea isn't dry. Hers was dry. And I think that would be important, that it would be dry. I did find this lovely container in my cupboard. My kids love tea too, and wouldn't you know it, it's pretty much an empty container. Don't you love that when they put empty containers back in? In this case, I'm not going to be mad at them because it's just enough for me to use in this project. So these tiny, tiny little tea bits. There's little bits of flower in there, flowers. She didn't use real flower petals because the wax itself isn't going to melt enough, or there's not enough on there to be able to secure those dry larger leaves on. So I'll show you something else that she used for that. But these are small enough, so just some tea bits. Again, we're just adding a little bit of texture, and it's got a beautiful smell to it. It's lavender, currant, and spice. Yeah, it smells good. So adding some nice little scent to it. Beautiful. Okay, this is looking good. I'm liking this. All right, so what she used instead of flower petals is plastic bag. These are hard to come by. In Canada, they don't sell these anymore, but I have a big old stash of them because I reuse them. And yeah, so I just pulled it out. She had a beautiful brown one. This one's kind of a greeny gray. I think it'll be fine. And I'm just going to grab like a little corner of it. Like this. Okay. Just like this. And I'm going to use my scissors. And we're going to cut very tiny little... Oh, that's actually, you know what we're going to do first? Grab yourself a used dryer sheet. Go over top your scissors with the used dryer sheet. Okay, this is not only going to clean them, if you cut on them too, it will sharpen a little bit, but it also takes the static away because this plastic bag, and I'm going to do my hands as well, this plastic bag is staticky and it's going to stick to everything. So just kind of using a dryer sheet for that, and then we will taking little snippets of this bag. Now, it's going to look like flower petals or pieces of foliage, but it's not. And because it's plastic, it's going to melt and secure itself onto here, which I thought was just brilliant. Plus, it's a beautiful way to use plastic bags that you have. I'm sure you have like 5 billion of them in your stash too. I mean, maybe not as many as the fabric ones. I have a ton of those as well. And it never fails. I always leave them in my vehicle. I forget them in my vehicle. I go in the grocery store and I'm like, ah. And then I'm too lazy to go back out. And I just buy more. Maybe that'll be my next art project. How can you use all of your grocery bags? Usable grocery bags. Okay, so that is cute. I like that. I want to add some thread. Why? Because I have it. My mom saves it for me. And I save it, you know, myself as well. So I have these little bits of thread here, and we're going to cut off. Oops, a few fell already. That's okay. But I don't necessarily want them clumped up like that. So let's put you over here. Again, just cutting little bits. Just little bits in there, because again, too big of bits is not, you know, the wax might not melt enough to secure it. Come on, cut, cut, cut. There. Okay, I think that's good enough. All right, the next thing you are going to need is either some tissue paper or your 1-ply backings of your napkins. Just so happens that I have some tissue paper, so let's use this. And it's too big. Sorry, I'm going to cut this down off camera just because my desk isn't big enough. Let's cut it about there. Okay. And again, tissue paper does have a shiny side and a rougher side, or matte side. I'm going to put matte side up again. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to crumple it carefully, because it does rip easy. Just crumple it up like this, and then gently open it back up. Like this. Okay. I'm going to smooth it out. Sorry, I don't have enough space on my table, but just smooth it out. And I've got that more shiny side down, I think. Do I? Now it's hard to tell. Okay, I think it's this way. Well, I'll give it a go. Okay, smoothing this down onto here. I think I mentioned, maybe I didn't, I don't know, but the lady also did ink up a little bit onto her freezer paper. I'm not. I'm going to do my inking after onto the tissue paper, because I think it'll it'll hold better or give a better effect that I'm looking for anyways. But you can do it before or after, whatever floats your boat. Do not iron directly onto the tissue paper. Why? Because that wax could seep through the tissue paper and get onto your iron, and you don't want that. So grab yourself a heat-safe mat or a piece of parchment paper, which I have here. So I have to move all the wax away. And then we will put the parchment paper over top. I did try using my Tim Holtz heat-safe craft mat. My iron doesn't slide as nicely. It sticks for some reason, and it is supposed to be heat-safe, but I just didn't like that it was sticking like that. I didn't have a smooth glide. Okay, so you can see the wax is starting to melt, and I think it looks super cool. That gold, I'm loving that gold. So we will just iron this on here, giving a bit of pressure as you slide it across. Again, I'm going to also put this in my heat press and smoosh it down afterwards. Because this will come off of fabric and stuff, I think I'm going to sew around the edge just to, again, secure it, especially if I'm going to use it as a page in my journal. Just to make sure it doesn't separate. Now, Julie from Camellia Craft Designs was using freezer paper as well on fabric to make tags and with napkins, and she was having the issue where it was separating and peeling apart. It's meant to do that. Like, that's why the quilters use it in paper crafting, or their paper piecing, sorry, is because they can iron it onto their fabric, they can cut the pieces they need to, and then they can peel it off. So it's not supposed to be permanent. And that's where that, I think, sewing around the edge is going to be our ticket there, just to keep it together. Okay, I think we've got it fairly well ironed, melted, all of that good stuff. Again, I'm going to throw it in my clamshell heat press, and that will give it some good pressure and some good heat. Oh, look at this. Oh, it's so pretty. Can you guys see that? I love the wrinkles. And so yeah, it's staying together. Yeah, it will peel off. I'm going to turn it over and give it a press from the back side. Let's see here. Seems to be doing all right. Maybe I should have had my parchment on here as well, but I think it'll be okay. It's one quick way you're going to learn whether or not you ironed it to the right side. Okay, so this is so cool. I love the look of it, you guys. Now the other side is, you know, it is shiny, it is smooth. So if you are using it as a page in your journal, you know, I don't know how you would write on it, but this is so beautiful. It looks just amazing. Now let's try adding a little bit of ink. Just kind of, I think it'll bring out, oh yeah, it's bringing out the wrinkles. I like the texture of the tissue paper. So just lightly going over it. Yeah, it's definitely bringing out that texture, which I love. Oh, this is so cool. What a great idea. Thank you so much to Chasing Paper for this wonderful inspiration for today. You can go as heavy or as light as you want with the whole inking process. Again, like I said, she did hers before, like directly onto the freezer paper, but I like it afterwards. We have some kind of blank pieces there, but that's okay. All right, so what can we make with this? Well, like I said, pages, you could do fun pages. You can make them into tags, envelopes, collage fodder. Look at that. How beautiful is that? I love the little bits of thread in there. I'm glad I did that. Okay, I'm going to turn my iron off, and then we're going to come back and we're going to make something out of this. So I will be right back, my friends. Don't go anywhere. Okay, so I have trimmed it down somewhat, and it is just so beautiful. Like you can see, here is pieces of the plastic grocery bag. You've got your thread, you've got your melted crayon, which doesn't look like crayon. It looks like, you know, honestly like leaves because it was small enough, right? Or like little florals. You can see the tea in there, and it's just a beautiful texture. Love, love, love it. I think we're going to do an envelope. Let's do an envelope. So let's get our envelope punch board. Let's do a, how big is this? This is about, give or take 14 because I can't cut straight, by 8 3/4, give or take, because I can't cut straight. So let's do 6 3/4 by 6 3/4. That'll give us a 3 by 5. Yeah, I think that's good. So 6 3/4 by 6 3/4. Okay. Let's use this trimmer. Yeah, I'm going to be making a ton more of these for sure. They're so great. Okay, 6 3/4 is there. I think I'm going to try and just straighten this edge up just a bit because it is cockeyed. Shocker, I know. Okay. I think this is fairly straight, so 6 3/4 is about there. Oh, I'm still gonna have lots left over. Look at that. We can make 2 envelopes or a tag. We could also make a tag. And I love that it's kind of transparent. You can actually kind of see the lines through my grid paper. 6 3/4. Oh yeah, we've got this gorgeous little piece to play with. Oh, it feels so nice. And then this we need to straighten up. 6 3/4. I think it's fairly okay. Yeah. All right, let's get to punching an envelope out of this bad boy. Okay, if it's 6 3/4, we need to score it at 2 and... So this is where I am in life. Do you guys do this? I don't know if it's the... I'm literally blowing it up on my camera phone here so I can see. So 2 3/4 is what I need to score it at. That's terrible, isn't it? I don't know where my glasses are. Oh, they're upstairs, I think. Okay, 2 3/4. So there's 2 3/4. Is that going to be right? Yeah. Punch it and score it. So let's use this guy. Right like that. Turn it, line your score line up with this little doohickey there. You're only measuring the 2 3/4 once, okay? I've made the mistake of measuring it each time and you don't get an envelope out of it, just so you know. Okay, punch and score. Again, lining the score line up with the edge of this, punch and score. Last time around, line it up, punch, and score. Beautiful. Now I will round these corners. Did that round? Yeah. Okay, I'm going around all of them, but I'm actually going to end up cutting one of the little flaps shorter in a minute, and I'll show you why. Okay, put that away. So I want this to fold up this way, and then these are going to fold in. My goodness, I'm not sure what my kids are doing up there, but making a lot of noise. Okay. Yes, and I like, or do I like this as the flap? Let's see. Tough call, but I think I'm going to do it this way, which means I want this cut off. I don't like this little peak, so I'm going to trim that off. And I'll get my ruler. Because I do want it to be somewhat straight and even, like this. And let's just cut it there. There we go. Okay, now the next test is really whether or not our art glitter glue is going to hold it, because it is kind of waxy on the one side, right? I do want to ink. Ooh, you know what would have been good on here is some green ink. But I've already done the brown, so let's just go with it. But yeah, you could totally, ooh, I've got like visions of like a nice blue, like doing it, stamping it in blue, like a nice kind of speckled egg, maybe? Yeah. Oh, but I don't have any speckled egg stays on. I don't even think I have any blue stays on. But yeah, don't limit yourself to the norm. Try some crazy different colors. Try pinks and purples and all of that if you have it. I have a bright pink, I think, in stays on. Maybe I'll try that next. See what it turns out like. Okay. Again, you don't have to ink if you don't want to. I just prefer that look, so I think it finishes it off. All right, so now let's glue our envelope down. Oh, so pretty. All right, Art, you're up. Let's get you glued there and there and here and here. Give that a little minute to catch. Oh, these are so pretty and they feel just amazing. Yeah, this is one that I would recommend, guys. It was simple. I mean, we're half an hour in and we've already got the paper made. Yeah, I like that. I mean, I probably should have sewn. I was going to sew around and I didn't. But just trying to see if it's going to come up. I think it's okay. So far, so good. Okay, I have too much light going on. It's just so white. I'm sorry. Let's see if I can turn this off. Can I? I don't know. It's not turning off, but let's see if I can get the light. There we go, to calm down. Look at that. Isn't that adorable? And it feels so amazing, you guys. Yeah, make pockets out of this for sure. Tags, absolutely. Just so cute. Yes, I'm in love with this. I highly endorse this craft project. I am putting my name behind this craft project. It is awesome. So yeah, definitely give that a go, you guys. I'll do something else with these, maybe make some tags or something. I'll do it off camera because I don't really know what it is I want to quite do yet, except for, you know, ink this up a little bit more, bring some more of that texture out. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. It didn't take long at all. It was simple, you know, simple supplies. It's, yeah, really great. So I hope you guys kind of try this idea, play with it. Let me know how it works for you. Again, I will link the original video where this idea came from down below. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and P.S. I love you.